Hello everybody, welcome back to another video where I'm doing more drawing. My voice is a little bit better today and I've had a coffee. So, I'm going to do some drawing. Hopefully I won't mess up the drawing like I did yesterday, and hopefully I won't have to rub the whole fucking thing out again. So, we're going to be doing that today, guys. Keep watching. I'm going to be listening to the continuation of the Hulk storyline. What I draw, the Hulk, well, half of Hulk and half of Bruce Banner. Like I've been doing, this is the half and half series. So hopefully you've been enjoying it. Don't forget to leave a like if you do, and subscribe if you're new. My name's Blut084, BLUT084, Art and Games. I'm here occasionally every day on YouTube, occasionally on Mixer, but every day and night over on Instagram. Same name, different place. All you gotta do is type it in and find me, guys. So if you want to join me anywhere else, don't forget to find me over on the Mixer. Mixer is a Xbox dedicated gameplay streaming system. Very, very, very similar to Twitch, but it's more of a Xbox exclusive. Instagram is obviously, you know all about that one. And YouTube, well, if you don't know about YouTube by now, where the hell have you been? Anyway, I'm going to be listening to my favorite reader of my comics while I get around to doing some of this and trying to get this done. So don't forget to keep watching, guys. But if you're watching back and you only want to see the picture that I finish with, fast forward to the end. And at the end, there should be some links after the live stream, because I have to put those links in afterwards, guys. But as always, there's more in the playlist. So don't forget, check out the playlist if you're a fan of my art. If you're not a fan of my art, what the hell are you doing here?
Welcome back to the Complete Story Series. This is where we take your favorite stories, trade paperbacks, and single issues, and we break them down into the most epic recap of the events of the stories that we can possibly bring you. All alterations to the panel section images are to prevent copyright problems. And all
again, this is Comic Story, guys, and I listen to them quite often. So if you want to listen to any of the other ones, there should be a link
it goes into the World War
somewhere.
Video. And I will give you that link down below if you didn't want to. When we
should be a link down below.
Probably. When we last left off, the Hulk had been sent to a planet due to a mistake by his friends. When he landed, he managed to become known as the chosen one.
If you want to recap, check the last video.
Becoming the new king of this planet. He is King Hulk. And after finally defeating the Red King, hours pass as the Hulk sits on the throne as the Spike fathers latch onto him. They are sucking him dry. Kira tells him that it's been 7 hours, even he can't take. But the Hulk stops her, telling her, "I'm the Hulk. I can take anything." Oh! As he groans, Kira watches as the Hulk's hand starts to change into a human's hand. Bruce Banner is finally there, and he says that so long as they feed on him, no one has to die. The Spike fathers release themselves, giving their thanks. They float off through the window. Bruce gets back up and he takes up his cloak and he reverts back to the Hulk, and he asks, "How about we get some breakfast?" Down in the city, Meek and Elo chase down a group of Imperial loyalists as they run back into their temple. As Elo kills one of the loyalists inside begs for her to spare them. She shouts, "Why should she?" They supported the Red King while he and the woman that asks if that's Elo. And Elo asks if that's her mother. Meek runs in shouting, "Kill them all!" And as he swings at her mother, Elo stops him, telling him to wait! That's her mother. Meek tells her it doesn't matter! She helped the Emperor! One of the Hyde brothers grabs Elo's mother, saying that it doesn't matter, they're killing her. Elo swings his sword back, cutting the Hyde brother's face. And Meek points his spear, shouting, "Pinkies!" Elo shouts back, "Bugs!" And the Hulk crashes through the wall, calling them both punks. He separates the two of them, and they continue shouting back and forth. And the Hulk tells them, "Fine, you want to argue? You can settle things in the great arena." As Meek's brothers and Elo's rebels face off in the arena, Korg tells them that this is their last chance to drop their weapons. As neither answers, Korg says, "So be it." And the bell for the fight is rung. Both Meek and Elo charge at each other, but neither is attempting to really fight. Hulk slams his fist on the ground, shouting for them to hurry up and fight! 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 He runs in, knocking Elo and Meek away, telling them, "If you don't want to fight, go ahead and fight me or die." Both groups start stabbing into the Hulk, and he continues to shout, "Come on!" As the last spear is thrown into him, he tells them, "This fight is over. We are all war-bound now, so embrace your brothers, or I will kill you myself." The next day, the Shadow Elders come to the palace to reestablish their Shadow Pact with the new king. They give Hulk an offer. So long as he guarantees their ancient land rights, they will pledge their support to him in the time of war and provide him with a shadow guard. Kira, the old shrug, was the Emperor's guard. Hulk stops them, telling them, I don't need a shadow guard. I want a queen. He holds out his hand to Kira, and she takes it. As the two walk off, Korg says that he believes that they have themselves a treaty. After a short moment of preparation, Hulk returns to his chambers. Kira sits kneeling before a blue flame. She tells him that she is a shadow. For their marriage to be true, they must complete the shadow ceremony. So will he kneel with her as she kneels with him? Hulk kneels, stating, I will. And then Kira takes his hand over the blue flame, asking if he will burn with her as she burns with him. And the Hulk says, I will. Kira then asks, will he bear his body and soul with her as she bears it with him? And the Hulk remains silent. She tells him that she must know him, all of him, so please show her. He looks at her and tells her, all right. His body begins to revert, and seconds later, Bruce is there, and he tells her that his name is Bruce. And she asks, so the Hulk let him out so that she can see all of him. Kira stands for a moment, and then she kisses Bruce, and as Bruce reaches back, his hand begins to change back into the Hulk. Meanwhile, over in the Science Hall, Meek and the Nameless Brood walk through the Science Hall as Meek says how the Pinkies will get their queen. But the Hulk is forgetting about them, forgetting about their dying queen, forgetting what he's made for, being angry, smashing, and revenge. The Nameless Brood says that maybe it is time for forgetting. Now come so that they can be alone in the dark. As Meek grabs onto the Nameless Brood's hand, he hits a button, and the room lights up, and the video of Reed telling Bruce that he's sorry starts to play. Meek watches and says, this will make the Hulk remember his anger. With the reforming of the government, he spends the evening sleeping with his new queen. And as he lays, he hears Meek's voice call out to him that he has something to show him. Hulk hurries over to the Science Hall telling Meek, this better be good, whatever it is. And as the recording from Hulk's ship plays, Meek says that it's the recording that he brought. His name is Bruce, right? Hulk watches and listens, and then he says, they tried to kill me. He smashes the screen and he looks back at the researchers. He doesn't say a word, and he leaves. A few moments later, Kira begins to wake up asking what's going on, and then she notices the Hulk carrying her as he leaps from the palace. When they land, Kira looks around and says that this is the steps. Why bring her here? Hulk tells her that she once said that this is a place of peace, that if he were to come here, he would never have to fight again, so maybe they should just go. She kisses him, telling him that she will go wherever he wishes, but he does not need to fear himself. They fought for this land, bled for this land, and now look what's been brought to them. Kira goes on saying that he doesn't need to run away because this is where he belongs, with his people, with his queen, and his children. She moves his hand to her stomach and his eyes widen. Later, in the Traitor District that was destroyed by the Red King's rampage, the loud booms can be heard, stopping everyone around. Everyone rushes over to see what's going on, and Meek flies in asking, what are you doing? Hulk tells him, war is over. Now we make peace. However, the Red King's enemies still surround us. So I will have Jerome and Korg go to the Phillians to negotiate a treaty. Archie will go to the Twisted Wood to speak with the Wildbots. Oh, frats. Hulk then points to Meek and Ello, telling them that they will help him with the spikes, but first they have some cleaning to do. After they begin to clean the district, Hulk and the others head over to the spikes to help pull their ship out of the ground. As all of the spikes begin to board their ship, he asks, what do they say? And Meek says that he's hemming with the big spike, but they're not saying anything. He's just happy to return to the stars. Once everyone is ready, the two ships fly into space, but before letting the spikes go, Hulk stopped by the shattered moon to help with the captive spikes. He jumps out of the ship to open up the sealed hulls. As the spores return to the fathers, Elo says that she can feel it. It's like a million voices all going home. As the spores leave, Elo sees Hulk burning and asks what he's doing. Meek tells her that he's going home too. He's just taking the fast way. As Hulk falls back to the planet, Kira runs out to see what's going on, and Korg says something fell, but he can't tell what it is. Jerome tells him it's alright, and in fact, it's perfect. Back in the city, everyone can feel the voices from those lost by the spores, hearing the voices telling everyone goodbye. As the Hulk returns, everyone cheers for the Green King. So much so that even the children have built a statue of Hulk for when he first landed on the planet. He looks around and he asks, what is all of this? And Kira just tells him to smile. Behold, and smile. She says it's time for them to just live. And just then a beeping sound can be heard from the ship. The recording of Reed begins to play, and the message, warning, warp core compromise, begins to play. Hulk runs to the ship telling everyone to run away, and he rips it out of the ground. He throws the ship as hard as he can into the sky, and he tells everyone to get down. A second later, the ship creates a massive explosion. As the blast hits the ground, the Hulk shields Kira, but she tells him not to worry. She will never leave him. Everyone who's away from the city can see and feel the explosion as it rips through the ground, along the pathway to the Phillians. Korg asks what just happened, and he turns back and says it was the humans. Their shuttle
When Pokemon join forces, their potential is multiplied.
I do not care.
exploded. The ground beneath them begins to crack, and lava shoots out of the ground, burning everyone. As Harome tries to save the people, Korg says his face turned to stone. Harome quietly says the Shadow Elders are dead. The strength of the Old Strong has been passed down to him. But it's too late. The humans have killed them. They have killed their whole world. As the ground burned, Meek flies overhead to the Shadow Starship, and he tells everyone to grab a line. Korg grabs one, and he tells Harome to take his hand. But as Harome just looks up, he stares. Korg tells him that they are warbound to the end, so either he takes his hand, or he will come down into the magma and get him! Harome takes Korg's hand, and as they lift, the ground breaks apart, covering the entire area in lava. Back at the center of the explosion, Hulk tells himself that the people said that he was the Sakarsan, but he was the world breaker all along. He just didn't know that they were too. The stupid humans with their stupid shuttle. They can't do anything right. He picks up Kira's body, and he thinks about how he wishes that he could just die, burn away into nothing. But now, the bomb has made him stronger. Soon, Kira's body turns to ash from the heat, and he slams his fist into the ground, ripping a giant piece of the earth apart, throwing and shouting, "Give them back!" The smoke begins to fade, and the Hulk falls to his knees, asking for them to give her back. He looks up, and he sees the Shadow Starship. The starship lands, and from the hatch, Harome, Korg, Meek, Alone, and the Nameless Brood come out. He tells them to leave him alone, and Harome says that they are warbound to the end. Hulk sighs, stating that this is the end. Nothing left to save, nothing left to smash. Alone tells him, perhaps not here, but the robot has a map of the whole universe. The Nameless Brood says that she is sure that he can figure out some place that he'd like to go. And so with the remaining Sakarans, Hulk and the others worked, forged, and completed. Now with the tools they need, it is time for Hulk to set a course for Earth. This is how Planet Hulk resolved. And next is World War Hulk. But I want to know in the comments down below, we've been doing some revamped versions of our older videos, the ones that we started the channel with, because we do have a completely different style at this point. I'd like to say that we show much more emotion and we have much more expression in the current videos, and we do dive a little bit deeper. Do you want us to do a redo on World War Hulk? A complete revamping of the story, showing the sides of the story that we did not tell in the original telling? Let me know in the comments down below. Or would you rather us move to the After Smash? Or perhaps you're tired of the story and you want us to do Red Hulk. The direction that we take will be decided by you, and we will see you again the week after the Spider-Man movie comes out. Don't forget to subscribe to Comic Story to see the next part of the story or the next Hulk story. And I can chat with you on Twitter and Instagram. I'll see you next time, right here.
They did do more, guys, if you want to see some more of it. They did do more, guys. If you did want to see more of it, or more Hulk, I will be listening to some more in a moment. My screen has just decided it's going to turn itself off again, so I'm going to have to get up and sort that shit out so I can see what I'm drawing. But yeah, hopefully you have enjoyed it so far, guys. Leave a like if you have. If you want to hear the rest of Hulk story, then you will very shortly. I'm sorting stuff out at the moment. For some reason, my screen has decided it's not going to turn back on. Right, there we go. Hopefully I'm still alive. Yeah. Okay, well, I'm going to be continuing on sketching. I'm going to be trying to ink today as well. It's Tuesday, because every Monday we normally do a sketch, but I just didn't like it yesterday, so I ripped the whole lot out and start again today. Today I'll be inking this as well. Well, probably. I'm not having a very fun time doing this picture because it's two faces, and what I've been doing basically is doing one side of the face, and then the other side has been a mask of some sort. I'm not great with faces, but I wanted to have a go at doing the Hulk because it's two and half, and they obviously got half Banner and half the Hulk. I've got a reference picture which I'm sort of looking at, but I just don't feel doing anything today. I really don't feel drawing about anything at all. just feeling really stupidly angry at the moment. Trying to sort of not take any nicotine in. And if anybody knows what not smoking is like, then you'll know what I'm talking about. So I'd love some support. Give me a keep going. The non-smoking, because it's affecting my whole general life. It's affecting my ability to draw. It's affecting my ability to think. It's affecting pretty much every aspect of my goddamn life. So don't start smoking, kids. And for those people that are giving up, keep going, because I'm not going to give up. Giving up, I have already a couple times. But why be as angry as I am for no reason? I'm going to listen to the rest of the Hulk. It's kind of helping, and we'll get rid of these. And I'll Planet Hulk, the end of everything. For some reason, it's playing that on again. But we'll get on with where we left off with the Hulk. If you want to listen to the full story, there is more on Comic Story. But if you want to listen to what I've been listening to so far, check back yesterday's video with the Hulk and Banner on there.
See family films as part of a whole year of
So,
2-to-1 cinema
advert,
tickets when you buy
fucking YouTube.
As a market.
I told you that we would be going back to World War Hulk. You see, when this channel started, we did do a World War Hulk storyline. We did the 5 issues that encompassed the original arc. We didn't go that in-depth into anything, and we just kind of did some of the best scenes from it. But now that we've done Planet Hulk and our style has changed rather drastically from that original video, we thought it would be fun to actually go in and look at the 41 or so issues that make up the entire event. Keep in mind, our original video only has 5. The new series will be about 6 videos long, containing all of the epic fights that happened within the World War Hulk storyline. Are you ready to see Hulk get his revenge for the events from Planet Hulk? Let's get going. It all began with the Hulk, a monster that was unstoppable and full of destruction. He lived on a planet of monsters where he was the hero. He had built a life. He had a wife and a child on the way, until it all came crumbling down. Now it's time to get his revenge against the men who sent him there. His friends, as they called themselves. The men who shot him into space to send him away from their planet. The men who decided that the Hulk was too much for them. That is the Planet Hulk storyline, but this is World War Hulk, retold in a more dramatic fashion, including all of its little bits and pieces. Now, out in space, the Hulk is en route, riding atop of a ship that carries his warbound, punching any asteroid in his path. As they approach the Earth, he lands on the moon with a whack-a-room! Medusa stands behind him, wind blowing in the air. You come unannounced to the land of the Inhumans, girded for war. But you cannot win this fight. You have faced my lord before, Hulk. You were defeated. He sees Black Bolt standing by her side. But she continues. Black Bolt's master blow can shatter your bones. His merest whisper can blow your broken body into the sun. And he glares at them. You shot me into space. He begins to turn and face them. Approach Black Bolt and Medusa. You killed my world. And Medusa tells him to stop. Instead, he grabs Black Bolt by the arms. Never. And Black Bolt whispers, enough. The force of that attack blows the Hulk back, but he holds on to Black Bolt's arms. The force continues to blow against his face, and he continues to hold on until it's too much. That simple whisper throws him across the moon, burying him. As Black Bolt tries to walk away, the Hulk informs him, I didn't come here to hear you whisper. Black Bolt turns around to see the Hulk leaping right into him. I came to hear you scream. Down on the planet, in a city, the ship cruises over. It projects an image of the Hulk for the entire planet to see. Puny humans, I have come here to smash, but I want you to know who's to blame. You call them heroes. I call them monsters. Iron Man, Mr. Fantastic, Doctor Strange, Black Bolt. They shot me into space, sent me to a planet where I could be hurt and die. But I survived with my Warbound, Korg, Meek, Elio, Jerome, and my queen. But your heroes also sent a bomb that went off and killed millions of people, and my queen. You have 24 hours to evacuate this city, and when I return, I want those 4 heroes. If they are not here, he then holds up a beaten and bloodied Black Bolt for all to see. I will do this to your whole stinking planet! Director Tony Stark flies into space to try and get back the satellites that the Hulk's troops took upon entry. But it doesn't work. They're prepared for whatever it is that he wanted to do, and then Doctor Strange appears before him. The Hulk withstood Black Bolt's voice. What do you think your machines will do, Stark? He's never been angrier. Therefore, he's never been stronger. Use your magic, Steven. Send him away and have him tear apart someone else's world. Come back stronger. Now we will deal with this. We have 24 hours. Each of us must prepare in our own way. Meanwhile, with that broadcast around the world, many people saw it, and many other heroes, other than the 4 that the Hulk came for, are preparing. There are plenty of heroes around, and they all need to try and stop the Hulk. A young man walks out of a diner in his civilian clothes, walking to a motorcycle, and a voice speaks in his head. No, this is not our affair. And the young man tells him, but you will obey me. No, there are people in New York. They need our help. A heat begins to overcome the man, and then his head lights on fire, revealing a skull. This entire world needs our help. Are you so foolish that you would jeopardize billions of souls to save only a few? He falls to his knees, putting his hands to his face. My name is Johnny Blaze. I'm a world-famous stunt cyclist who holds 9 Guinness World Records. I sold my soul to the devil without even considering that it might not work out. In other words, I am that foolish. He hops on the motorcycle and the tires ignite, and the Ghost Rider rides to New York to stop the Hulk before he can kill millions. He hits Brooklyn and he sees an army trying to evacuate everyone, so he rides up the Brooklyn Bridge and he leaps over it, catapulting himself into the air, crossing over buildings. He tells himself the scary part about a jump isn't the jump, it's the landing. And he comes to a screeching halt in front of the Hulk. He looks him in the face. Here we go. Bruce, listen to me. I know what it's like to have something burning up inside of you that wants vengeance, but you can control it. Look around, man. This has gone too far. The Hulk smiles. He actually smiles. Bravo. And he claps his hands together with a shockwave that throws the Ghost Rider into a nearby building. Ghost Rider gets up, realizing the Hulk just threw him aside like he was nothing. And he looks at his bike and he has an idea. He hops on it and he begins to ride down the street, flinging his chain. It cuts into the side of a building, and then the Hulk looks at it, interested. It cuts into another side as Johnny rides around the block. And the motorcycle roars as the Hulk sees what Ghost Rider is doing. Because then he drags the whole building behind him, dropping it on the Hulk. He brings the bike to a screeching halt as he turns to face him. I did it. And then he hears something angry, something determined. The big green hand reaches out of the ground, grabbing the Ghost Rider and yanking him through the street into the subway. He holds the Ghost Rider up by both of his arms and he tells him, stay out of my way. This is none of your concern. The voice in Johnny's head tells him, he's right, you know. And Johnny screams out, shut up, referring to the voice in his head. But the Hulk, he didn't hear that voice. So he throws Ghost Rider into the sky. Before he gets high enough, he throws the chain back down, wrapping it around the Hulk's neck, stopping his ascent. Then he slams himself back onto the ground, hooked onto the Hulk. He rolls onto his back, realizing that he's holding the chain, and the voice asks him, what's your plan now? Johnny hops on his bike, realizing that he has to get the Hulk out of New York, and he hits top speed, pulling the Hulk by the chain. Once he feels it go taut, he realizes he has the Hulk, and he pulls him out of the ground. Except the Hulk tied the chain to a subway car, and the Ghost Rider's just been pulling that. The Ghost Rider realizes that he's been tricked, and he hears boom, boom, boom. And he looks around, and he can't see the Hulk, but he looks up. The Hulk is standing on his spaceship, looking down onto the streets, and he sees Ghost Rider. You beauty bug. Squash you like bug. The Hulk leaps off of the ship as Ghost Rider realizes what's coming. And then with a loud boom, the Hulk buries the Ghost Rider into the ground with the full force that he can deliver. Meanwhile, Doctor Strange and Iron Man are watching the battle, and Steven informs Tony that the Ghost Rider has just fallen. The Ghost Rider is a being of boundless power. He is godlike, except the human that he inhabits is like a safety to keep him in check. Steven sensed that Johnny was in control of the Ghost Rider, not the spirit of vengeance. Therefore, he was much weaker than he could have been. And then he sees something that causes him to panic. With the fall of Johnny, the safety's off. Tony asks, "Isn't that good?" And Steven tells him, "No." A spark ignites in the eye of the Ghost Rider, and boom! The entire ground erupts into a massive explosion, taking out multiple blocks of Brooklyn. The Hulk takes the blast to the face, and he stares to the center of it as the Ghost Rider rides again. He lands with another cracking thud. His entire body is on fire. He is the true Ghost Rider, full of vengeance. The Hulk stares him down, and the Ghost Rider revs the bike. The Hulk looks on him again, and with the bike idling, the Ghost Rider turns and leaves. Tony asks Steven what just happened, as Steven tells Tony, "I expected the true Ghost Rider to leave, because the Ghost Rider only avenges the innocent, which we, Tony, are not." I hope you guys enjoyed that, because I can't wait to bring you the next part, when the Hulk goes to visit Professor Xavier and the X-Men. This did remind me of how powerful the original Ghost Rider really was, and we've gone ahead and downloaded some of the original Ghost Rider runs. So give this video a like and let me know in the comments down below if once World War Hulk is done, you want to see some classic Ghost Rider. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter @ComicStory and subscribe to this channel to get a World War Hulk video every week for the next month or so, and I'll see you next time right here at Comic Story. Oh, and the rest of the Hulk videos will be right here, and all of the World War Hulk video playlist will be right here. Enjoy.
When Pokemon join forces, their potential is multiplied.
Welcome back to another World War Hulk story. Now I'm going to warn you, this is probably going to be one of our shorter episodes because this is World War Hulk fighting Ant-Man. Now, it's not the Ant-Man you know from the movies. It's a different one known as Eric O'Grady. He's pretty much like a dirtbag, scumbag, evil kind of Ant-Man kind of guy. He basically stole the suit and ran off with it. But he's going to fight the Hulk, and that's why the video is short. You can probably imagine what happens. It's an ant versus the Hulk. Oh! As Damage Control is standing there doing their job, the current Ant-Man, Eric O'Grady, is being spoken to. He tells the woman in front of him, Abigail, to turn around, because above them is a giant spaceship hovering over the area. Ant-Man looks up. You know, there's something you don't see every day. The Hulk shows a holographic image of him holding Black Bolt's body. Now their city will fall. You have 24 hours to evacuate. When I return, I want to see Mr. Fantastic, Iron Man, and Doctor Strange. If they aren't here, I'll do this to your whole stinking planet. Abigail turns to Ant-Man and tells him that she's getting out of this city. She can't be here. Ant-Man secretly helps her by shrinking down and handling issues that are in front of her on her escape, because the whole city is in a panic for the next 24 hours. No one is sure if the Hulk is lying or not. He's a hero after all. Ant-Man sits on a roof at the end of the 24 hours with Monstro, discussing if this is actually going to happen, when boom! The Hulk is thrown through every building that they are on. Ant-Man shrinks down to avoid damage, and then he goes looking for Monstro. He finds his friend recovering, and then he shrinks down, telling Monstro that it's time to play hero. And he's off. Our battle of Ant-Man versus the Hulk will begin. The Hulk is on the ground recovering from whatever hit him, so Ant-Man jumps onto his face. Hulk doesn't know that he's there, so Ant-Man crawls into his mouth with the idea that maybe he isn't so strong on the inside. As he passes the teeth, the Hulk's tongue knocks him into the roof of his mouth. Ant-Man slides down his gullet, grabbing onto the dangly bit into the back of his mouth. Yes, I know it's called the uvula. Did you know it prevents food from getting into your nose? Anyway, Ant-Man lets go of the uvula and slides down the Hulk's throat. Over the teeth and through the tongue, look out stomach, here I come! But the Hulk is large, and Ant-Man keeps falling. Eventually, any day now, as he falls into the stomach, he sees what appears to be a can of Old Spice body spray and a whole bag of chips and a fork. Seriously, what has the Hulk been eating? Ant-Man looks around thinking that if he can tear the lining of the Hulk's stomach, then maybe he can cause him enough pain to stop him. He winds up and he pulls back his arm and he throws a punch, and he possibly broke his own hand. He stands on the side of his stomach thinking, well, that didn't work. He's stuff is steel in here. Time for plan B. He ignites the flamethrowers on his back, preparing to burn the Hulk's stomach, when suddenly there's a lot of movement and he's thrown around. He hits the wall and the Old Spice can is coming right at him, so he ducks and he dodges. He sits there wondering if that was maybe a delayed reaction to his punch, or did the Hulk trip and fall? Outside of the Hulk, he's locked in a heated battle. Explosions are going off all around him and he braces himself for another hit. Back inside, Ant-Man crawls over to the side of the stomach again, and he prepares to use his flamethrowers all over again. With a whoosh, he burns away at the Hulk's stomach lining. Ant-Man is happy with himself. He did it. And then he sees that he didn't even singe the stomach. Once again, the Hulk's stomach can withstand it. Ant-Man sits down, realizing that this is pointless. He may as well go loot some of the stuff that everyone's looting. You see, this Ant-Man, Eric O'Grady, he isn't exactly known as the greatest hero. He's kind of a scumbag. He crawls out of the Hulk's nose and he lands on the chest plate looking around. And in front of him is Iron Man in the Hulkbuster suit coming right at the Hulk. Hulk counters by tackling Iron Man, and they both go flying into a nearby building with Ant-Man in tow. He falls, flips, and tosses in the air, unable to stabilize himself, and with blood pouring down his face and most of his bones broken. Eric pops his helmet off, trying to find the grow button, because he knows as Ant-Man, he'll never be found if he remains small. And just as he passes out, he hits the button and falls unconscious. He wakes up days, weeks, maybe months later, under arrest for his actions. I did say that this Ant-Man isn't typically a nice guy, but he did survive his fight with the Hulk. And there you have it, a very short story in which Ant-Man fought against the Hulk. You probably assumed who was going to win that. It was the Hulk. I mean, we all saw it coming. But next week, we'll be bringing you the next part of the World War Hulk storyline, so that we can tell you the complete story with all of these extra fights and cool moments that happen within it. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to get your weekly World War Hulk storylines, and you can also get other stories from us like The Flash, Wolverine, and Batman stories. You can also click right here for our entire Hulk playlist, and you can click right here for something else from YouTube. I hope you guys enjoyed, and let's all reach out! Hulk anger! If Dylan's cool, he'll make me look green on the screen right now.
I knew my day would come around this time. Just had to keep my soul and free.
World War Hulk. Now, we've already brought you the fight against Ghost Rider. We've already brought you the fight against the X-Men. We showed you how Ant-Man technically fought against him. He landed in his stomach. But it's time for us to bring you the fight against Iron Man and She-Hulk. But we told you we were going to bring you the complete story. We told you we would bring you all of the extras. We kind of lied. You see, I'm not going to bring you the boring issues where Tony Stark talks to people. That was boring. We're going to keep up with the fighting, but we are going to incorporate front lines where you can see the random civilians and how they cope with, New York crumbling. So this issue is going to contain the Iron Man fight, the She-Hulk fight, and a good portion is the front lines, which is also going to show you how Luke Cage and Daredevil deal with everything. When we last left off, the Hulk had threatened the entire city of New York, telling them that if Iron Man, Doctor Strange, and Reed Richards did not come forward, he would smash the entire city. He destroyed the X-Men. He brought down the Ghost Rider. So, what was the next plan? Well, there is a superhero that everyone knows can give the Hulk a run for his money. The Sentry. He has immense power, and they tell him that the Hulk needs his help. He calms down when the Sentry is around. So Robert lights up his powers, and as he begins to walk out, he stops at the doorway. He's afraid of leaving his home, afraid of losing control, of becoming that villain again, and therefore he won't go help. Back at New York, Spider-Man calls out to the citizens, keep moving! He's currently wearing the black suit because in his own adventures, Aunt May was shot and he was seeking to kill her, wearing the black suit to show that he wasn't cheerful any longer. But that's a completely different story that doesn't involve the Hulk. We'll cover it at your request. And then we'll link it down below if you're watching this video much later. Spider-Man calls out to the civilians to keep moving, but some of the people aren't having it. An argument begins, and S.H.I.E.L.D. is trying to escort these people from their homes. They are the same people who shot the Hulk into space, and they started this. Now they're trying to take these individuals' houses. Spider-Man looks at the man bringing this up. You're mixing things up pretty good there, pal. But before he can finish, there's a wackoom! And She-Hulk, Jennifer, lands nearby, correcting them that wasn't the Hulk that they heard landing. It was the She-Hulk. The He-Hulk smashes about 1,000 times harder than that. You really want to hang around and meet him? Spider-Man whips to the ceiling, dangling upside down next to her. Yeah, what she said. A S.H.I.E.L.D. ship then flies over the city, calling out that this is their last chance to evacuate. If they just think that they want help, S.H.I.E.L.D.'s telepaths will get a hold of them and evacuate them. One of the civilians looks at Spider-Man. Who was that Black Bolt guy? The Spider-Man tells him that he thought he was the second most powerful being in the universe, so don't worry. They've got the blonde bombshell, the numero uno, and that's when he sees Iron Man in the Hulkbuster suit. Nuts. That's not the effect I was going for, Spider-Man. No offense, boss, but we were expecting the Sentry. Up above, the Hulk lands with a crack. Iron Man looks at the Avengers. Don't attack until he falls or I do. The matter that he gets, the stronger he'll get. And whoosh! Iron Man takes off. Hulk leaps into combat and they meet in the middle with a thundering boom so loud that it shatters the glass of the nearby buildings. The Avengers are forced to the ground and the helicopters are thrown out of the air. And the civilians now realize the power of the Hulk and what they need to fear. But on the street level, there are two individuals dumb enough to try and get the story of the fight. Sally the journalist and Kenny the cameraman. And with a kang, Hulk hits Iron Man into a nearby billboard that flies off of the building, landing next to them. You okay, Sal? Kenny asks her. And she sees the billboard just crushed her car. No, Kenny, I'm not. I think we're at war again, only this time, I don't think we're going to win. They steal another car and they begin to see people panicking as they drive into the city. But the people aren't trying to flee from the situation. They're still in the town. They're looting. They're going around robbing stores. And she turns to Ben Ulrich asking what's going on, and he informs her. The ones who remain must be either crazy or poor. I hear people are coming back into the city like it's Mardi Gras. They then round up Ben and they see rioters and things begin to get thrown at their car, and that's when they realize they need to find a safe location and head off to find somewhere that they can get photos. Back with the two boys that we all want to see slug it out, Iron Man dives into the Hulk, forcing him to the ground. Hulk swings away, punching Iron Man in the head. Iron Man returns the favor by rocket blasting his punches into the Hulk, and they hit the ground, destroying everything around them, leaving a massive crater. Iron Man stands there, and the Hulk gets up. But what you don't know is going on at this moment is that Ant-Man is hanging out of the Hulk's nose. He was inside of the Hulk at this moment, and the fall made him realize that shrinking and entering the Hulk was kind of a bad idea. But we have a video covering that, because at that exact moment, Iron Man launches into the Hulk's stomach, throwing him through the buildings and unknowingly throwing Ant-Man into the air away from the fight. The Hulk and Iron Man go through multiple buildings with a kaboom, kaboom, smack-oom! And around the world, everyone is watching it, from the president to the fans in an arena in Texas to Rick Jones in a bar. The Hulk lands in Central Park, where he slowly begins to get back up from that last hit. She-Hulk sees the jets launching missiles at her cousin, and she calls out to them to wait, but every missile hits the park with a loud kaboom! The fire burns and the ground is destroyed, and the Hulk remembers the last time that he was in this. The last time that he saw this level of destruction. The death of his wife, the death of Kyra. He calls out her name, remembering all of the good days, getting to know her, standing with her, the death of her. He remembers holding her body as it disintegrated in the explosion, telling her that he would never leave her. And his anger raged on, and it grew out of control. And in his eyes, you could see the rage as he yells out, "You killed her!" Iron Man sees what's coming, and he has no words other than,
Comixology is Amazon's premier digital comics, graphic novels, and manga reading experience. With a
Hulk hits him so hard that he splinters the entire suit. They launch into the sky and they land on top of Avengers Tower, and that's when the Hulk doesn't stop. He raises his arms and he double hammer fists, slamming Iron Man's suit, smashing each floor of the tower as they go through it. The Avengers themselves are just forced to watch. Iron Man takes one hell of a beating over and over as Hulk tears apart the entire suit, and at the bottom of the tower he stands up drooling with his rage, screaming out to anyone who dare approach him. Elsewhere in New York, Iron Fist jumps into a rooftop where he calls out to Doctor Strange. "You can't just hide here. Luke, Spider-Woman, Spider-Man, they're all out there and the Hulk's gonna kill them." Strange tells him the Hulk was never a killer. But Danny stops him there. Maybe his attitude slightly adjusted when his friend shot him into space, blew up his wife, and a million other people. Why don't you just stop this, Strange? You want me to send him away again so he can return even matter? And Echo asks the question that we're all wondering. No, just kill him and lose my soul forever. There's no other way. Pray for me, children, as I have begun my incantations. I'm searching for a hero who can defeat and redeem the Hulk at the same time. But it will only work if he lets me in. Back with the Hulk, he slams his fist into the ground. Luke Cage looks at him and all the heroes are standing there. If we're gonna do this, let's do this. He's only one guy. And that's when the Hulk's friends all land. We are Warband of Sakaar, Harom the Shaved, Korg the Cronin, Elio Kafif, Meek the Unhived, No Name of the Brood, and we stand with the Hulk. Ares begins to walk forward, prepared to bring this battle to an end, and that's when She-Hulk stops him. She tells everyone to stand back. Bruce Banner is her cousin, and if he's in there, he'll listen to her. She steps forward. Some mess, huh, Bruce? Let me help. Meek
I'm
asks,
sorry,
"Can
it's
you
skipping, guys. I'm
bring
using my
back
tablet.
the hivelings who died in
Using
Crown City?
tablet
Can
with
you bring
sound
back
today.
the mother of Elio?
For some
The elders
reason,
of
it decides
Rome?
it
Can
skips
you
every
bring
now
back
and
the
then.
Hulk's bride?" She-Hulk snarls, "I'm not talking to you, bug." And the Hulk steps forward. "Walk away, Jennifer." Bruce,
Wouldn't think
if
Digital
Tony and the
Clock
others were
Fallout
involved,
would
we'll
do that.
figure this out. We'll put them on trial. You know me, I'll stand by you to the end. But we have to do this right. Walk away, Jennifer, now. And she looks her cousin in the eyes, the hurt and angry eyes of the Hulk. "I can't, Bruce." "Then stop talking and fight." Jennifer gets ready and she tells the Avengers to stand back. She won't throw the first punch. So the Hulk growls as he does it for her. She dodges and throws one back, landing on his nose, so he grabs her by the mouth, slamming her into the ground. She looks up, and the only thing that she could say is, "God help us all." At that moment, the Hulk slams Ares into the ground, and the Avengers rush in to continue this fight. Everyone from Spider-Woman to Doc Samson to Spider-Man and Miss Marvel are all going in to continue this. Elsewhere, Sally and her cameraman are looking over the city trying to get a spot for some good photos when something comes flying into the nearby building, damaging the sides of it. She runs down the fire escape trying to see what it was when Luke Cage gets up, brushing himself off. Pardon me, folks. I gotta get back to where the action was. She looks around again and she begins to smell something, and the civilians notice the gas main has been ruptured. To make matters worse, there's a little girl hanging from the fire escape about to fall to her death. Everyone panics and runs off, saying that there isn't any hope, and that's when we see Daredevil leaping in to save the day. The girl screams as she begins to fall, and he swoops in, grabbing her out of midair, setting her softly on the ground. Sally walks over asking Daredevil how it's all going, and he stands up looking at the boy, who is now holding his sister. "You need to find your parents to get out of here." "Our parents left us a week ago, and we aren't going to any evacuation center." "Look, if you go to the center, I'll make it a point to come around here and make sure that you're safe until something can be done in this part of town." And as the young boy walks off, he says to himself, "Yeah, and just how do you think you're going to keep that promise?" Daredevil looks down and shakes his head. Out of the mouths of babes. Sally looks at Daredevil. "I guess he doesn't have very high expectations right now." "Why would he, Miss Floyd? Let's say the Hulk destroys the city. How high in the priority list do you think Hell's Kitchen is going to be?" Sally calls up Ben, telling him that she has Luke Cage, Daredevil, and Hell's Kitchen. Probably another story that they can cover. And as Ben sees a building getting hit, he tells her that he has his own story brewing. The Fantastic Four are now fighting the Hulk and the Warbound. But that's next week. There you have it. The fighting in She-Hulk ended with her face landing into the ground. You know who's next? The Avengers and the Fantastic Four. And if we've got time for it, a little Doctor Strange. If you want to see that video, make sure that you subscribe, because we're going to be concluding this very soon, and that's when we're going to go back to the Ghost Rider. So, if you like Ghost Rider and Hulk,
Fucking
you probably should
damaged
subscribe.
tablet.
Anyway, don't forget you can follow me on Twitter at ComicStorian. Right about here, you're going to find the whole Hulk playlist. Right over here, you're going to find basically like a YouTube recommended thing. Somewhere around the bottom's the subscription button. Thank you, and have a good night. Roar!
My back.
I promised you that we would be continuing the World War Hulk storyline, and I do not forget my promises, unless I forget them. But anyway, we're going to be continuing. After defeating Ghost Rider, there's one of two locations that the Hulk could have gone to. He either went to the Charles Xavier School for Gifted Youngsters, or he fought against Ant-Man. I decided to bring you over to the X-Men fight for this week, and we'll do the Ant-Man fight next week. Now, I hope you guys enjoy, and don't forget, this is a part of a sprawling narrative that started with the Planet Hulk storyline. The Hulk got blasted into space, found a family, found freedom, and then a bomb went off. He went back to Earth to get his revenge. That's where we are. He's going around trying to get revenge on the Illuminati. If you're confused, check out the previous videos. I'll see you at the end. Oh, it's time to smash! Iron Man stands before Professor X, a member of the Illuminati, the group that blasted Hulk off into space, and he asks him, "What would you have voted if you were here?" Because Professor X was not a part of the decision to blast Hulk into space. Would he agree to send him away, or would he have fought it? Well, there's someone else who wants that answer. And with a crack, the Hulk lands demanding something. "Xavier, I want Xavier. No!" If you are just now joining us, the Hulk has come back angry due to the death of his wife, and he's already beaten Black Bolt and the Ghost Rider. Beast sends the students down into the basement knowing that this probably won't end well, and he walks to the front door. Hello, Hulk? "Xavier, bring him here." "You know I can't do that." "Out of my way! I'll find him myself." And as the Hulk looms over Beast, creating a shadow on his very face, a terrifying, angry shadow, the Beast tells him, I'm afraid I can't do that either. So the Hulk smashes Beast into the door. Wasn't asking. The students all run out and the battle against the X-Men has begun. They all blast him, throwing him off his balance, and Beast looks at a student, Josh, asking if he's ready. He has the powers of healing and depth touches. They both know that it won't kill the Hulk, but it should overload his healing factor. So Beast gets up running back into the fight with Josh on his back. The Hulk slams both of his fists onto the ground and he gets up as Beast runs in. Josh touches him using the full power of his death touch. Beast stops behind him with the student. Hulk, you may want to rethink this. Do you know what we did? And he turns with anger in his eyes, gritting his teeth. You made me matter. He grabs a piece of the building and he slams it onto all of them. Stupid mutants. I don't need my healing factor to beat you punks. A telekinetic mutant swoops in, so the Hulk claps, rupturing his eardrums. And another then pours her sand abilities onto him, so the Hulk tears the waterline out, spraying them. Beast leaps in. Damn it, Banner! These are kids! And as he wipes his mouth, he tells Beast, don't talk to me about kids. Another mutant runs in and the Hulk knows this one. You're the one that controls his body parts when you're in pieces, right? So he pops off the mutant's arms and he throws them. Can you control them while they're in Connecticut? X-23 pops her claws with a schnick, and she jumps in as the Hulk grabs both of her hands and begins to swing her. She pops out the claw on her foot and slashes at his face. He drops her and Beast calls out, he's hurt! Everyone hit him! But the Hulk gets up with a cut across his eyes, punching anyone near him. And then he grabs X-23, lifting her into the air, and he hurls her into a building. It didn't have to be like this. I just wanted Xavier, but no one makes me weak again. He begins to slam the students down, and as he prepares to kill one, a huge cut slashes into his back. You're leaving a real impression beating on kids, bub. Wolverine leaps into the air, but it's grown-up time. With blood pouring down his back, the Hulk turns around to see the X-Men have arrived. This is the fight I was expecting. Bring it on! And that's when Xavier walks out. I believe you said you're here for me. Now that I've seen my students to safety, you've got your wish. The Hulk looks at him. Xavier, you're walking again. I can fix that. So Professor X places his fingers on his temple and he begins to use his powers that he has. Except there's something wrong. He can't control anything. The rage in the Hulk is out of control. He sees what the Hulk endured on that planet. Weakened and enslaved. The trials that he faced. That he found happiness, friends, a kingdom, and a wife. And a child was on the way. And that's when Xavier sees what happened. The bomb and the death of it all. I know you weren't at the vote, Professor X. But according to Black Bolt, you were supposed to be. So I want to know, how would you have voted? The honest answer is that I wouldn't have agreed to exile you, but I would have agreed to sending you away until we found a cure. Perhaps I can atone, so I will surrender willingly. Smart move. Don't worry, you'll have Stark and the others to keep you company soon. As the Hulk reaches down, Colossus stops him. One moment, the Professor may have surrendered, but we have not. Hulk sees the X-Men, Beast, Colossus, Emma Frost, Cyclops, Wolverine, and Kitty Pryde, and he asks them, is this really how you want it? All of you? And Cyclops looks back at him. All of us. And it begins again. Cyclops opens up as he calls out, max power! Blasting the Hulk, burning away his skin. And the Hulk grabs Cyclops by the head. Kitty Pryde leaps in, grabbing Cyclops, and Wolverine follows up, cutting at the Hulk's stomach. So the Hulk backhands him into the tree line. Beast, Emma, and Colossus jump in and they start swinging. And the Hulk calls out to them to stop! You can't even hurt me! But the whole point was to distract him so that Kitty can grab his arm and legs and phase them into the ground as they're debating what to do next. The Hulk stands up! He just stands up, tearing his own limbs out of the ground. And then it collapsed, sending the X-Men flying. With the X-Men all taken down, the students look on, and the Stepford sisters have an idea. An alarm goes out to all of the mutants, to everyone that they are needed. It's time to stop the Hulk. Back at the fight, the Hulk throws Beast aside, and then he grabs Emma Frost, even though she's in her diamond form. He slams her into the ground, burying her, so that she can't move and can't change out of her diamond form. Colossus punches at him, so they lock arms. The two men begin to press against each other, trying to force the other back. And then while that's happening, Hulk bends Colossus's arms backwards, snapping them like little metal twigs. And then Wolverine jumps in. Leave Petey alone. It's always about you and me anyway. Wolverine takes a swing at Hulk as he leaps backwards. And then Wolverine gets in his face, so the Hulk grabs him with one hand, and he smashes his face with the other. Wolverine swings and the Hulk punches. They go back and forth for a few moments until Hulk questions, what will happen to Wolverine's brain if it's smashed against your metallic skull over and over? So he hits him. And he hits him, And eventually Wolverine is done. And that's when Juggernaut finally arrives out of his outfit with the Stepford sisters having called for help. With a crack, they punch each other. The Juggernaut is unstoppable. Once he's going, his power is magic-based, and it causes him to be an unstoppable force. The Hulk, he gets stronger when he gets angrier. The problem is, the Hulk is practically invulnerable, and the Juggernaut, well, he's not while in this state. After a couple of swings, the Hulk buries the Juggernaut, and then he turns around to see the rest of the X-Men who heard the call and were able to arrive. Multiple X-Men leap in to battle the Hulk, and he gets hit with all kinds of mutant powers. Lightning, energy, strength, and just some weird mutant stuff. But he crushes them all. He kicks people into Jersey. He flexes to pop out knives in his shoulders, throwing them at the wielder, and then headbutting him into submission. But in the end, Nightcrawler bamfs the Hulk outside of the schoolyard as their only plan. While at first, everyone's asking why they only teleported him right outside of the schoolyard, that's when the Blackbird plane is thrown at him. But nothing stops the Hulk as he throws it aside and walks back into the schoolyard. He stares at the X-Men and Professor X. Is this what you wanted? Are you happy now? And Wolverine stands again, and then he's thrown outside again. As the Hulk presses on, behind him, the Juggernaut has returned, but this time, he is fully suited up in his armor and uniform, wielding all of his power. There's a kawam! And they both punch at each other. The punches are thrown, and with the powers of the Juggernaut actually slamming the Hulk into the ground, they then lock arms, and with their powers combined, they're locked into place. So the Hulk uses his brain. If nothing can stop the Juggernaut, then keep going, he shouts as he throws the Juggernaut into the water. He steps up to Professor X, who tells him again, I'm not going to resist. And another student leaps in, telling the Hulk that she won't allow this. The Hulk grabs her. You stupid mutants! I will make him feel my suffering. You cannot stop me, so why even try? He throws her out of the window and the professor calls out. He runs out to check on his student, and it's there, in the X-Men's graveyard, that the Hulk finds the student and the professor there. She's crying, and the professor is just sad. She looks at the Hulk. You want to talk about suffering? Look around you. The girl gets up, putting her hand on some of the graves. Her name is Lori Collins. All she wanted was for people to like her for who she was, but she got shot in the head at 16. And this is Brian Cruz. He loved his powers and he loved being here, and he lost it all on M-Day and his life as well, along with 41 other kids, because some mutant hater blew them up. Like your wife was. Don't tell me that we haven't suffered like you. Don't ever tell us not to fight for what we have left. You're trying to do exactly what your enemies did to you. Destroy what happiness we've managed to find in this world that hates us. For something the professor didn't even do. Maybe we can't stop you, but don't expect us to fight any less hard than you. The Hulk finally stops, and he thinks about this. He turns his back to the student and the professor. You consider this your fault, Xavier. My guess is you should. He grits his teeth. You're already living in hell. He leaps away, leaving the professor with the student. And the professor looks at her, and he embraces her. Did you guys enjoy that? Did you enjoy him literally pummeling Wolverine? He just grabbed him and pummeled him. Anyway, don't forget to check out the rest of the Hulk playlist right over here. Don't forget to check out something recommended by YouTube right over here. And if you click the link down below, you'll be able to subscribe to the Comic Storian channel, where next week, you'll discover what happened when he fought against Ant-Man. The guy can get like this big.
Obviously, we're doing them in backwards. You know, outro just keeping. Coughing. Great fun.
Enter Midfield Warrior. You've battled the elements valiantly. But even giants deserve a little me time. And if a scented bubble bath and a gentle smoothie is your thing...
Really? No, it's not. Advertising bloody... Oh my god, it's another advert for smoothie! Want a fucking smoothie? I'll go and get one.
Hulk is back. I took a little bit of a break, but don't worry, we are back with more Insane Hulk. Today, he's going to be fighting against the Fantastic Four and Doctor Strange. Why? Well, because, off-panel, he defeated the Avengers, so there was, nothing else to tell you about that portion of the story. We're taking a break from Frontlines this week because it was really weird and tied in funny. But we will be back with more Frontlines when we get to the Century fight next week. Let's get on with that show. When we last left off, the all-out fight had begun, and it was time for everyone to stop trying to talk the Hulk down, because he just threw his cousin She-Hulk into the ground face first. The Hulk and his Warbound leap into battle while the Fantastic Four try to build a weapon to stop him. The Hulk is still after Reed Richards and Doctor Strange as Black Panther is trying to help, and Reed tells him to get out of here. He has nothing to do with the Hulk's exile, and he needs to go, but T'Challa turns to him. Unfortunately, you have made it our fight. You have made it the world's fight, Reed. And now that the Hulk has smashed the Avengers, you'll need every one of us if we're going to have any hope of stopping him. Reed tries to stop him, but it's Sue who tells Reed to stop. Johnny looks over at the city to see the big green dot getting closer and leaping his way to them, because the Hulk is done with the Avengers and he's done playing. As he tries to land in front of them, Storm hits him with a great wind gust, throwing him into a building, and the rest of the Warbound all jump in, telling them to just give up Reed Richards and they'll leave. As they throw the Warbound off course, Johnny gets up over the Hulk to hit him with a full blast of a supernova. The building that he is on is blown to pieces and he feels the fiery power of the Human Torch. The blast is so mighty that it throws the Warbound back further, and the heroes all feel its heat. But once it's done, in the very center stands the angriest man on the planet, the Hulk. Looking down at the street, Ben Grimm, the Thing, sees the Hulk standing there and decides that it's time to get involved. As he leaps off of the building, landing right in front of him, he runs in. It's clobbering time, and he tries to take a right hook to the Hulk's jaw, with a little blood coming out of the Hulk's nose. He looks back at him. All right then. And they leap in, locking arms. The Thing gets a shot into his gut and then to the Hulk's face, but the Hulk returns with both fists on the sides of the Thing's head. Everyone looks in horror as the Hulk raises both of his fists to finish this, and then there's a bright light glowing in front of him. He turns to that light, and it tells him, "Hello, Hulk." He lightens up for a second as he looks up to see Century, Golden Man. One of the Warbound jumps down asking what's going on, and the Thing explains. Century and the Hulk are real friends. The Century always had the ability to calm down the Hulk. This is over. And as the Hulk reaches up, Cord tells the Thing it is. The Hulk smashes Reed's little device and then takes a shot at Reed's head. Except the Invisible Woman stops the hit and pleads with Bruce to stop this now. So the Hulk asks her, "If I were to set a bomb that killed your husband and children, your whole world, would you ever stop?" And with that, he cracks down on her mental projection bubble so hard that he drops her. And then he grabs Reed. Reed tries to wrap around the Hulk, tries to stop him, keep him from moving, to do anything. But the Hulk smashes him so hard that he falls unconscious. The Hulk and the Warbound grab Reed and they begin to walk off. And that's when she calls out to the Sentry, telling him, "We need you. You need to leave your home. We are failing." The Hulk walks through the city, dragging Reed and the others that he has just beat down until Rick Jones runs out in front of him. "Hulk, stop!" The Warbound try to stop Rick, but he ignores them, looking at his friend. Cap's dead. For those wondering, this happened right after Civil War, in the death of Captain America, and the Hulk doesn't respond to that news. "A lot has happened while you were gone, Hulk. Tony and Reed, they screwed up. I'm sure these guys deserve it. Not like this Hulk." The Hulk reaches out, touching Rick's shoulder, and that's when he acts. The Doctor has arrived. He dives into the Hulk's mind, digging around, looking for the emotional side of him. And a bright light beams out of the Hulk's skull as he reaches up, grabbing his head, shouting, "Get out of my head!" He leaps into the sky, crashing into the bay nearby. When he looks up, for everything he sees makes him angrier. Seeing everyone failing, though, there's one man ready to fight the Hulk, and his name is Thunderbolt Ross. Ross thinks back. Will they ever learn? This always happens. The Hulk saves the world, then they pardon him. A few months pass, and he's at it again, fighting against everything around him. He's a monster, and one that needs to be put down. All of those years, everyone telling me he was possessed, or Doc Samson separated Banner and the Hulk, or he just wants to be left alone. Well, it got us nowhere, and we're now standing here with him conquering our world, and no way to stop him. My daughter is dead. Ross loads up into his helicopter, and he takes off, going to fight the Hulk. That's when he opens up with 10 tons of adamantium needles spraying into the Hulk's back. The soldiers all run up and they continue to spray the Hulk over and over, peppering his entire body with damaging needles. He screams out in pain, and that's the moment that Doctor Strange strikes again. He tells Iron Fist that he needed the Hulk to allow him to enter, but this will work fine. Thunderbolt Ross has forced open the door. Inside the Hulk's mind, he hears the voice of Strange, but he ignores it, and he leaps into the air screaming at Ross. He lands in front of the helicopter, grabbing onto anything that he can. The voice of Strange once again tells him, "Come along, Bruce." And the Hulk stops what he's doing as he plummets back to the earth with the helicopter in his hands. With a loud explosion, the Hulk snaps to and realizes he's not in the city anymore. He's picturing a new location in his mind, even though he is in fact standing in New York. He looks up to see an astral projection of Doctor Strange. "Where have you taken me?" This is not the question, Hulk. The question is, Where have you taken me? Hulk reaches up to grab the astral projection, but he gets nothing but air. This is the space within your own mind, Hulk. What is it that you want to show me, Bruce? The Hulk screams out, "Don't call me that!" Outside of his mind, Ross sees the Hulk yelling at nothing and flailing around. He orders his men to open up in the big green giant. He gets sprayed with more needles over and over as he manages to grab the astral projection finally. Except Strange grows in size, telling the Hulk, "Your anger means nothing to me. I am the Sorcerer Supreme, and I can snuff the feeble flame of your mortal life with the merest twitch of my finger." He then shrinks back down. "But I am also your friend. Let me help you, Bruce. Show me your true face." At that moment, the Hulk thinks back to his life in Sakaar, thinks back to his wife. He softens up, and he begins to shrink down to Bruce Banner, telling Strange, "That's what she said. She wanted to see my true face. Her name was Kyra, and I hear her voice all the time." He looks back and he remembers all of the good times he had with her, the life that he was building. He remembers her telling him the words that he always wanted to hear. "This is where you belong, with your people, with your queen, your child." And then he remembers what took her life, the explosion that rocked the planet. Strange stands over him. "Bruce, I agreed with Tony and Reed in Black Bolt that you were too dangerous for this planet. I let them trick you into the shuttle and then shoot you into space. But you have to know, we had nothing to do with the explosion or her death." Bruce looks down. "Go away. How long have we known each other, Bruce? How many battles have we fought side by side? Look at me and tell me if I'm lying." Bruce rubs the bridge of his nose with his fingers. "Stephen." And Strange makes himself corporeal, putting his hands on Bruce's back. Bruce reaches out, taking Stephen's hand, and Stephen tells him, "I have you." And a look comes over Bruce's eyes. "Yeah, and I've got you." And that's when Strange sees a shadow growing larger and larger, covering him, and he realizes what just happened. And the Hulk crushes Strange's hands, breaking them. Strange falls out of the mental scape onto the floor of his own building, and the Hulk rushes forward, fighting against Ross, still shooting needles at him. He leaps up, landing on a tank, tearing off the cannon on the front side, and then he jumps to another nearby one, stomping its cannon into the ground, throwing it into another tank. He throws the pieces of that tank into the sky, taking out the helicopter. As the pilots all parachute out, he claps his hands, putting down the rest of the ground troops, and then he sees Ross standing there on the side of another helicopter. The Hulk leaps up to him, grabbing him, and they fall out of the helicopter as Ross grabs his pistol, shooting the Hulk in the eye. And the Hulk gets madder as they fall to the ground with a whack-oo. After the Hulk and his troops set up Madison Square Garden for their big plan, they walk to Greenwich Village to the home of Doctor Strange. They take down all of the enchantments and outrun Iron Fist and Strange's helpers, except they're all dropped without even any effort. And then the Warbound walk into the house. Strange calls out to Wong, telling him to bring him the box. It's their only hope. They must free Zom. Back in Madison Square Garden, where the Hulk is setting up his throne in the arena for the gladiator fights, Doctor Strange appears before him with his hands and head on fire. He has let the demon Zom in, and he informs the Hulk, "Strange, smash!" He slams his fist into the ground, nearly taking out Jerome the priest. So Jerome grabs a blade and swings it to block Doctor Strange as Hulk watches, and then Strange uses his power to smash the weapon and drop Jerome. The Hulk leaps in, but Strange plucks him out of the sky and punches him through his stomach, uppercutting him. "I've just begun." The people of Earth try to push past the cops protecting them, telling them that they want to see what's happening. They want to see the fights. And as the Hulk lands in front of them, Strange comes up from behind, smashing him in the back. He then uses his spells to bombard the Hulk with everything, followed up by kicking him into a building nearby that crumbles it and forces it to fall on the civilians. Strange realizes what he just did, that he cost innocents their lives. He rushes over to lift the building and he sees the damage, only to see the Hulk holding the civilians safely. Strange looks at him. So much anger, hard to control. So the Hulk looks at him. "Tell you what, let me give you a lesson." And he slams Strange into another building. Magic goes off all over as the Hulk pummels Strange over and over until finally he removes Strange from the game board. And that's when the Hulk walks back to Madison Square Garden to end this, because it's all about to conclude. And there you have it, another chapter of our World War Hulk storyline. Now, don't forget to subscribe to this channel to see how this is going to end if you are unaware of it, or you can subscribe to get the Ghost Rider storyline, which will be starting up after this one ends. Follow me on Twitter @ComicStorian and click right here for the rest of the Hulk playlist. You can also click over here for something recommended by YouTube. And down below is a subscription button. I appreciate each and every one of you who watched this video. Thank you all so much. This channel only exists because you actually watch the videos. And with that, I'm out.
That's right, guys. This channel
Welcome to the conclusion of World
only continues
War
because you
Hulk.
watch.
This is it. It's all over. And he's going to be facing off against Marvel's Superman. That's basically what he is. And for those of you guys who are going to argue, Marvel's Superman is basically Hyperion and Sentry. They've tried it twice. Neither time has worked. But let's see what's going to happen when he fights against the Hulk. And as we come to the conclusion of this story. If you're just now joining us, then welcome to World War Hulk. The Hulk was exiled off of the Earth and sent into space where he landed on a war planet. He conquered and made a life for himself with friends, a wife, and an unborn child. But the rocket that Reed, Doctor Strange, Black Bolt, and Tony Stark had sent the Hulk off in exploded, killing his wife and half of that world. As revenge, the Hulk had had enough, and he went back to Earth to make the Illuminati pay for what they had done. He has now smashed his way through every hero that dared stand against him, and he rounded up the 4 of them. Now that he has his arena built, it's time to end this. All of the superheroes have had obedience discs attached to them, which forces them to stand in place in the arena, while the Hulk forces the heroes to listen. My name is Clorinda Roberts. I'm here to speak on behalf of Black Bolt. Last month, my husband retired, and for the first time in 20 years, I got him to go to the Opera House with me. You probably saw what happened on the television. Black Bolt's people came and declared war on Earth. They tore my husband's head off. I don't care. My husband is dead and I want that man to pay. And another person steps forward. My name is Tom Foster. My uncle was Bill Foster, and you probably knew him as Goliath. He took the rebel side during the superhero civil war because he knew better than to throw in with the government. Tony Stark and Reed Richards cloned Thor. They cloned a god, and they used him to kill my uncle. They talk about laws, but they don't seem to do anything. So I'm ready for the Hulk's law. Then another person steps up. Doctor Strange dances with the devil, and he nearly killed all of us a few moments ago, or did you miss that? Let the judgment of God be upon you. The Hulk steps forward. Don't like it, do you? It's not fair. It's not the whole story. You have excuses, explanations. You're innocent. These people don't know what really happened. They don't know what's in your heart. Now you know how it feels. The Hulk then opens up the cage, revealing a giant monster that crawls out snarling and flailing around ready to kill everyone. The Hulk explains, the day that I traveled to Sakaar, I was thrown into a pit to fight things like this. And as a spiked tentacle comes crashing down near Tony, Reed pushes him out of the way. Strange screams out in pain as it grabs him and crushes him. So Tony runs forward to the sword that he picked up, cutting the tentacle off. And the creature screams out, ready to fight it even harder. So Black Bolt jumps on its head with a spear, stabbing into its brain. It falls dead, and the Hulk congratulates them for succeeding. Next, we were thrown into the gladiatorial training school, where we were told to kill each other. So choose your weapons. Reed tells him, never. And Elio calls out, do it, slave! And the shock goes through all 4 of them. They tried to fight against it, but it was useless. The obedience disc forced them to feel the pain. And Strange turns to Jerome the priest. Jerome, it is now you who has gone too far. I, Strange, may the prophets forgive and embrace us all. And with that, the superheroes of Earth begin to battle against each other, forced to try and kill each other. With magic weapons and fire burning around them, the rest of the heroes are forced to watch as their friends and loved ones fight against each other. Reed continues to barrel down onto Tony as Tony doesn't fight back. Reed tries to reason with him. Defend yourself! But he's busy hacking into something. The nearby Death's Head guards, and they shoot at the Hulk, who sidesteps them easily. So, they force Tony to use those guards to bombard Reed. And as he grows his arm in size, slamming it down next to Tony, the Hulk says, look at that. We're all monsters. Everyone in the arena begins to chant out, kill him, kill him. And a man is watching on the television, a man with the powers of a god, the Sentry, a superhero with the power of 1 million exploding suns. As he watches on the screen, the Hulk gives the thumbs down to have Reed kill Tony, and that's when he rockets off at top speed. Meanwhile, outside of the arena, Sally the reporter and Ben Ulrich are dealing with the crowds. The people of New York are pushing and shoving each other around. They want to see this action, this fighting, the death, the mutilation. They end up pushing down the fence that is separating them from a sinkhole, pushing Ben Ulrich to the ground. Sally runs to his rescue, having to smash a bottle over a thug's head, but the police stop her, telling her that she can't go. The police explain that it's a sinkhole from all of the damage, and the people are falling into it non-stop. It isn't safe to go that way. But that's when everyone in the crowd looks to the sky, and they thought the destruction was already done, but it's about to get worse. as Sally sees the Century soaring towards the fight. Back inside, though, Reed brings his mace down right next to Tony's head. Everyone is stunned and they realize that it was the Hulk who prevented this. Remember this, puny humans. We came here for justice, not murder. No one on your planet has died by our hands, and no one will. For the Earth to remember who you are, we will raise this city to the ground. I will leave you to your shame. Tony looks back at him, beaten and battered and hurt. I explained it time and time again. This is your last chance to surrender, Hulk. Or what? Back outside, Sally just stands there in disbelief that this is happening as she watches the Sentry hit the arena so hard that he sprays rubble back, hitting the people and throwing more destruction around. Inside of the arena, the Sentry is glowing brightly with the power of 1,000,000 exploding suns. Hello, old friend. He grabs the Hulk and he slams him through the wall, the buildings, the city itself to get him out of the arena. Sally runs over to the sinkhole where she helps Ben get out of it, and they look around because the next few hours are sheer madness. Buildings are falling down over the entire city. There's massive destruction and injuries. Sally looks at Ben. What is this? What is going on? And Ben sees the Sentry fighting the Hulk. That can't be good. They begin to try and flee with everyone else, and smoke begins to swirl around them as explosions are following them. Portions of the streets are turning into sinkholes, and fires are burning all around them. New York has been turned into hell, and the Hulk looks back at the Sentry. You don't want this fight, Sentry. He glares at him. Yes, God, help me, I do. Because you're the only one that I can hit like this. He uses all of his power to punch the Hulk in the gut, throwing him through more buildings into the sky, where he comes crashing down into yet another building. The buildings are like tissue paper to these two, and they're all just being torn down. The Hulk stands up. All right, Stark, Richards, all of you, this is on you. Never forget what happens next is on your heads. The Hulk finally catches the Sentry mid-flight by punching him in the face with the full force of the angriest Hulk ever. The explosion is massive, taking out the entire building. Every time the Hulk swings, a mini explosion goes off, and he hits the Sentry over and over until blood is drawn, and the Sentry points his fist at the Hulk, and he burns him. Fire begins to spout off of the roof of the building, and it begins to pour over the entire city. It fills the streets, it burns the trees, it takes down everything in its path, and Ben, Ulrich, and Sally are left to see the aftermath of it all. The fire burned for 3 days after this fight. The city was in ruins. But whose fault was that? Back in the arena, all of the heroes are wondering what this guy...
Okay, guys, I'm going to end it here because I need to take myself a little break. It's been an hour. I've been an hour doing this now, so I'm going to say I ain't doing too badly this time. Actually enjoying this image. It's actually not too bad. I'll take a picture of this and then I'm going to come back and ink it because it's Tuesday. So I'm glad I'm getting to the inking stage today. I'll be doing that. I'll be having some lunch and then make myself another drink and I'll be back, guys. Don't forget to leave a like if you have. Subscribe if you're new. And if you're watching back and you haven't been watching the live stream, there will be a few links that will appear to send you to other pictures that I've drawn for the Half and Half series, or to take you to other drawings that I've been doing in this book, guys. Don't forget to check them out if you're a fan of this one. And come on back when I will get up to my Sharpie pen and also my inking fine liner, wherever that's gone. And I'll be colouring this one in either today or tomorrow. Don't forget to leave a like if you have. My name has been Blut084, BLUT084, Art and Games. I'm here every single day on YouTube, occasionally on Mixer, but every day and night over on Instagram. Again, I'll post a picture so you can see this in a better way because sometimes the camera doesn't always show up that well. Otherwise, if you're a fan of Comic Storian, ask for a link down below, or go and find them over go and find them on YouTube. That's Comic Storian. That's who I've been listening to. And I'll see you next time. I'll see you in about half hour. Bye for now.